people a couple of minutes so that
Yeah.
if they want to join in with us, if they want to pop in the live or come into the Zoom, they can.
Uh-huh.
And then we'll roll right into the questions as people
Sounds
roll in.
good.
I'll let them in, and we'll go from there.
Awesome.
So I do want to thank you for taking time out on a Saturday morning.
No, it's not bad at all. Yeah, otherwise I'd be chilling on the couch till noon at least. So.
Yeah, that was sort of like what this was all born out of, was
Oh
in the
yeah.
beginning of quarantine when we all were just like stuck home and we couldn't go anywhere or do anything. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. So I went live on my Facebook, and um like I was live on the Facebook and letting people just ask me like anything. And I was like, wait, I'm giving away a lot of tips here. So then
Yeah.
I started doing like themed talks. So we've had everything from like an esthetician come in and tell
Oh,
us how to
cool.
take care of our skin, and like hairdressers, and I
Yeah.
mean just all sorts of cool stuff. So but
Awesome.
this is a good one because people are starting to clean out their closets and organize and get ready for the new year. So I
Yeah, it's about
thought,
that time.
yeah,
Getting there.
yeah. Oh, let me grab your book too so I can
Oh, you're good.
make sure to tell people that they need to get their copy of it. There's a couple of people watching. Hi, guys. I don't know who's watching on live, but say hi so I can see who you are. We're going to get started really shortly. I'm so excited to be here with Bobby Jackson, who is an organization expert and an author. We're going to talk about cleaning and detoxing our closets. We're going to get into like the digital life a little bit because I was reading his book in the digital section. I was like, oh, that's a read. He's talking about me. So we're going to do all that. So say hi, good morning. Let me know who's here, who is watching. And obviously, if you guys have questions, you can drop them into the comments here on the Facebook Live, or the link is on my Facebook page. You can click the link and hop into Zoom so you can see Bobby and ask for yourself. But we're going to get started in about probably like 2 more minutes. All right, what are you drinking, Bobby? What are you drinking?
Oh, Bloody Mary, of course. How about you?
I'm boring this morning. I'm drinking coffee, but that's only because I like have to be a responsible parent when this is
Oh,
all
that's
done.
fine.
Like day drinking goes by the wayside
Oh,
with a
yes.
toddler because it's like that's not true. When he goes down for a nap, I may like make him a or something.
Yes.
But he's 1, and so he's into everything, and he's like flinging himself off of couches and trying to tackle stairs, and so I'm like, I need to actually be alert.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Don't want to be a little
Yeah,
buzz
but
with a.
there's lots of wine consumption in the evenings.
Oh, perfect. Exactly. That's
Yeah,
where
because
it is.
he's awesome, but he is a lot,
Oh.
a lot. All right, so listen, let's you and I get started, and as
Sure.
people hop on and join us, we'll just let them in. We'll answer questions. But I just want to take a moment and welcome everyone to Saturday Style Chat with your chic is showing. I am super, super, super excited to have my buddy Bobby Jackson on here. Bobby is an organization expert and an author. He wrote this great book, From Stressy and Messy. I don't know. Wait, can you see it? From Stressy and Messy to Organize and Optimize. And it's all about how to win a never ending battle with your stuff. Words are hard today. Sorry. So it's a great book. So we are going to talk about Bobby's book. We're going to get into some tips about closet organization, detoxing your closet. I'm going to share some tips from my ebook, Closet Detox, Your Guide to Getting the Wardrobe You Deserve. And we are just going to like rock and roll and get started. So before we get into the cleaning and the organization and the detoxing, hey Arlette, what I want to do is talk about how Bobby and I met, because I feel like we have such a funny story about meeting each other. Like people talk about having a meet cute, and Bobby and I have a really good meet cute. So do you want to tell everyone how we actually met?
Sure, why not? So about a month ago, Erica and I got a call to be on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen on Bravo. So that was fun. We were part of the 8 virtual audience members that were
Yeah.
physically actually in the Bravo clubhouse on the screen. So we were technically the first guests actually behind the bar, right? We were bartending,
Yeah.
right? So on screen.
Yeah, and we were part of the first week, like back in the studio, because Andy had been doing everything from his house. So
Yep.
it was a lot of fun. Our group was
Yeah,
lit.
they were. Yeah. So before we even got into the call, we were all in a Skype room for a good hour or so, just chatting it up,
Yeah.
talking. We found out you and I are from Baltimore, Annapolis, so
Yep.
that was kind of fun. We almost missed the show because we were having such a good time.
Yeah.
Producers had to come in the chat like, "Oh, you guys need to go in now." We're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
They're like,
sorry."
guys, enough talking. No one else does this.
That was
So
fun.
yeah, so it was awesome. So we all like chatted. We decided to all follow each other on Instagram and get to just know each other a little bit better, which is how I learned about your book that you have. Was from being on your Instagram. And I was like, oh wait, what? You have a book? Let's talk. Let's chat more. Which is awesome because his book, like I said, is all about organizing your life. And I feel like particularly during the pandemic and quarantine, I feel like everyone has been going through this like I'm cleaning everything phase. I don't know about you. Have you noticed that? Drink first, a
Oh no, right?
priorities.
No, sorry, no, that has no. Yeah, I see it all the time, especially when it comes to digital life. And you were mentioning digital organization. It's so funny. Like everybody's on their laptops, on their computers, and now like just organizing digitally is something that's now been a whole new trend. So it's just crazy how it's blown up.
Yeah, it's insane. So I want to talk to you. How did you get started becoming an organization expert? Like, how did this become your thing?
Yeah, so it was funny. In college, I was a biology major and did the whole forensic science route, and I just picked up on things on my own, just kind of innately. Like I was just always neat with my schedule, organizing everything, color coding everything. Even my small little dorm closet, like I had to like I had my hangers organized, colored, making sure I mentioned my book no divots because they're wrinkles. And I just picked up all these little patterns I just kept track of, and I just became so I don't want to say anal retentive, but in a way, kind of sort of just like with how I maintain my lifestyle. And then it wasn't until I in my workplace that people started realize like, oh my God, you're so organized with your files. They started looking at my desktop and how I kept folders on OneDrive and Google Drive, and a lot of people picked up on that. And they're like, oh my God, I wish I was that organized. And then so a couple of friends were like, you should really write a book on it. And I was like, why not? Let's go with it. So and then Jesse and Messy to Organize and Optimize was born out of that.
Wow. So you mean to tell me your desktop isn't just like 100 files like mine
It
is?
no, yeah, it is. It is cut down. A quarter of it only has files. The rest is all blank on the side.
Oh, well, then I will not share my screen and show you because my desktop will stress you out. And I'm one of those people that always like I had to close all my tabs and it was like close 75 tabs. So yeah, I'm like one of those people. So talk to us a little bit about your book. Why did you want to write it? Who is it going to help?
Yeah, so it's not meant for everyone. It's meant for somebody who just wants to get started in organizing, and specific areas too. If somebody who's having an issue with closet organization, there's a chapter that talks about closet organization. Someone with looking at kitchens or trying to just declutter in general with books, photos, receipts, and papers that they have in their house. There's unique chapters that are devoted to each and every single one of those needs that people may have. Um, and the other reason I wrote the book too is not just for the physical aspect. I on the market right now, there's tons of like books out there on physical organization. I mean, Mary Kondo, you
Oh
have a
yeah.
lot of like minimalists that write about decluttering and whatnot. But there's very little out there on digital organization at all. So that's another reason I wrote the book is like I don't see anything out here where anybody's providing tips on how to organize your emails and declutter your online files and folders and desktop icons and then organizing calendars electronically.
Oh
So
yeah.
and just how to declutter papers and convert all those papers into electronic files so you don't have just papers floating around in drawers or stacks of them in your office. So just those tips just like spurred and I'm like this book's great for that. I'm hoping to help those people
Perfect.
out.
So let's like I know we're here to talk about closets, but you said it talking about digital and like I said, so the book, the way it's organized, I'm just going to show you guys. So part one, oh, you can't see the words because of the lighting, but part one is all digital organization. It's email, yourself. My cell phone is another thing. My dad and I were talking last night. I have like 250 apps on my phone. My cell phone's a mess. Like my music is a mess, my computer is a mess, my email's a racket. Like I'm one of those people with 10,000 unread emails. all of it. So I want to talk a little bit about digital organization, because I think, to your point, people do not think about digital organization. Like I said, I'm just like, I'll read an email and I'll be like, oh, that's important. Let me mark it on red. I don't file it anywhere. I don't put it anywhere. Sometimes I'll write something down. If I can answer it immediately, I will. But that's how I now have like 10,000 unread emails in my inbox. Like I said, I have 250 apps on my phone. My desktop is a mess. So talk to us a little bit, like, if you're going to do the digital organizing, where's a good place for people to start?
Yeah, and the basic thing is, as soon as you open up your computer, like those desktop icons, like once you get that down and you get the pattern of just, it's honestly just consolidating, like, and just putting folders and folders and folders, and just there's a psychological component too. Like you don't have the fear of like, oh, if I put like this file in like 10 different folders, I'm not going to find it. Well, our brain's kind of like categorically organized, right? Our brain is a filing cabinet, so we know like, oh, hey, if I have like a receipt from, I don't know, Amazon that I kept for some reason. And then on your folder, you would go under like household items, receipts,
Right.
Amazon, it's right in that folder. So you get used to where things are. So that's a fear most people have. But again, your brain picks up on it, you'll get used to it, and you'll memorize where all your files are on your computer. But like I said, it's just a matter of decluttering online, like putting like files into so many different folders and categorizing them. Ideally, when your screen, like I said, you shouldn't have no more than, I guess, 3 or 4 rows of folders. And that's, again, I use the 75 or the 25% rule or quarter rule with that, is that you should be able to see your background screen on your computer. It shouldn't be a puzzle where it's like one of those games where, oh, what's behind number 1? Oh, now I can see the image.
My kids' faces should show up on the screen?
Ideally, yes.
It's not icons for eye. Like there's 3 of them are there somewhere. There's a finger. That's a great tip. Now, is there anything that's really crucial to organize? Like, one thing I know my dad does, and we do, is we Google our names. We Google our kids' names just to see like what comes up and make sure there's anything that we need to make sure isn't out like publicly. So are there things when you're organizing from a digital standpoint that you should just think about from like a safety perspective that you need to be organizing or clearing out?
Yeah, definitely all the time, especially and we all know this, like we grow up and there's somebody that winds up like tagging us in images on Instagram or Facebook, or we go back like 2 years on Twitter, we made like somebody made a weird like post of them like at the beach, or who knows, like, and there's just things that you just need to go back and like delete, and just be mindful. Like I always take this into consideration. Think of you representing your husband, your wife, your children on there, in the future too, your parents. So like anything that they would see, you're representing yourself and your family on there. And think about it from a job perspective. If anybody can publicly search you, like they can easily go back and trace anything you have. And I know my Instagram is private, and I'm guilty of having shots and drinks here and there. But as long as it's private, I guess it's okay. But just make sure, just make sure that nothing out there is anything jeopardizing to you or your career or your family.
That's a really good point. I actually have 2 Instagrams for that very reason. So I have my business Instagram, your chic is showing, and then I have like a whole personal Instagram that's, I mean, now it's just like it's kids, but it used to be like more of my shenanigans.
Yeah.
And I am glad that when I was younger, I think Facebook got invented like my senior year of college. So I'm very thankful that there's no photographic evidence of sort of my shenanigans before that.
Right.
But that's like a really, really good point. So now I want to turn and talk about organizing closets. And so I know you must hear from people, from your book and writing everything. I hear from clients. So why do you think it is so hard for people to clean and organize their closets?
Oh, so there's two reasons, and I'm sure you've seen the same 2 reasons I have. The first is just the amount of items in the closet. There's just it's people start to organize first before they declutter, and that's mistake number 1 right there. It's just putting like getting new boxes or getting more hangers, or spending money on like these nice organization I get organizers in general. And then you realize that you don't need all that. You just need to declutter to begin with. And now here you are $100 later out when all it took was you just one step ahead of time to declutter.
Right.
So that's the first one that I see. The second one is just the emotional attachment people have to their items and belongings. You know how it is. Like you and I know everybody does that. You have that one dress or that one shirt that even though you haven't worn it in 2 or 3 years, it's just like, oh, I can't part ways with it. And it becomes such a nuisance to try and get rid of it. And I read this in your ebook, and I don't even mention this in mine, but it's a great thing to bring up with your audience is bring a friend who's honest. Don't organize your closet alone. Like do it over a glass of wine. Bring that honest friend with you, right? Again, your friends are honest with you. It's like going on a date with someone. If you're dating a new guy or a new girl, and of course you're going to see the best of them. You're going to be starstruck. You're going to be like, oh my God, this person's so amazing. And your friends are going to be the ones that come in, and guess what? They see all the red flags.
Yeah, like, honey.
Exactly. Like, no, you better watch him. You better check him right here. It looks a little shady. That what he has going on right there. His DM box is full, right? So that's how closets are, really, right? You can't trust yourself alone in a closet. Yeah. You know, you're going to be starstruck. You're going to need your friends to come in and be honest. Be like, how long did you wear that? That needs to go. Like you need that person that you can trust.
That's actually a really good tip. I want to go back to that first thing you said though, that people don't declutter first. And it's so true. If you don't declutter and get rid of stuff in your closet, you can't because all you're doing is organizing junk. Like it's still junk. It just looks prettier now. You know, maybe it sits in pretty boxes or you have nicer hangers, but it's still just junk. So like, I can't stress enough the detoxing tip to like actually detox and declutter first. And I will say the first thing that because even I think you have to kind of detox in stages, right? And so when I go through this process with my clients, I kind of work from easy to hard, right? So the first step in my process is always like, if you haven't worn it, I say 90 days. With COVID, it's more like, call it 6 to 9 months. But I mean, just because we haven't been anywhere.
Yeah, true.
But like under more normal circumstances, I'm like, if you haven't worn it in the last 90 days, it doesn't need to live in your closet. And I always give people a tip. I'm like, if you're not sure if you wore something or not, hang your hangers backwards. And when you wear something, flip it the right way. So then at the end of a season, so if it's, you know, spring and summer, when you're looking at your closet, when fall hits, anything that's still hanging backwards, you didn't touch that whole time. So that can get out of your closet because you're not going to magically decide to wear it next summer. But I feel like you have to do the easy stuff because like if you haven't worn it, you're probably not like all that emotionally attached to it. And then like you said, it's the people like, oh my God, but I was wearing this, like I had the dress that I got proposed to in my closet and it wasn't a great dress. And like, if I had known I was getting proposed to that day, like I wouldn't have worn that dress, but I was wearing it because we had, my husband, you know, our older 2 kids are from his first marriage. So like we had his 2, and then my brother has 3 kids and we had my brother's 3 kids. So like I was dressed for like warfare because it was 5 kids versus 2 adults. So like I had no idea that he was going to propose that day. And so I was cleaning out my own closet and I'm like, oh, this is the dress I got proposed to. And I was like, no, Erica, it's not flattering. Like you get rid of it. But I feel like so many times if you can't talk to yourself that way, or like, you know, like we say, bring a friend that can talk to you that way, that's how you end up keeping so much junk. And I will say another tip that I have is create a box for stuff like that. I'm not saying get a giant extra large moving box, but get like a medium-sized box for those sentimental items that you like truly cannot get rid of. Because I do understand some pieces like you can't, but also tell yourself when that box is full, it's full. So if you have to make some hard decisions, make some hard decisions.
Yeah.
Awesome. So as I mentioned, I sort of take my clients through a 6-step process to detox. Now, listen, the first 4 steps are all detox, right? Like we don't even get to organization until step 5 and 6, right? Because I'm like, most of my clients, the struggle is the detox to get rid of the stuff. And then it's like, oh, once I have a wardrobe that works for me, now how do I organize it? So when people are starting, and you started to talk about this, that you have to kind of start with the detoxing, but when they get to the organization step, where do you recommend people start with the organization?
Yep. So like you said, too, the less amount of items you have, again, it's a building process. You have to get used to your own comfort zone and getting used to the routine of organizing. So again, start with the small, easy items that you have. It can be as simple as sock and underwear drawers. Drawers are a really easy thing to organize, and just color coding, folding properly. There's techniques that I mentioned in the book for that as well. So again, start with the small items and even accessories too, like purses, sunglasses, jewelry. That's another easy way to start off with too, getting trays for those items, organizing bins and trays, and then go into the more difficult stuff with those clothes and the t-shirts and the things that are going to be a lot more difficult to part ways with that you're going to have to eventually.
Yeah, yeah, they're gonna have to go. I think that's such a good tool. And I think we don't think about jewelry and accessories, but they can take up a lot of room and they can clutter up so much stuff. So I love that tip of organizing that, because one, it feels a little bit less stressful, but it does kind of give an instant facelift to the areas that you're organizing. And yeah, I love sunglasses trays and jewelry trays. I think jewelry trays are like my jam.
Yeah, I love sunglass trays.
Yeah, I'm like, now my desk and my dresser is just covered in like jewelry trays with jewelry in it. But no, I think that's such a great tip, and then it also like beautifies your space a little bit.
Yeah.
So I love that. And one thing I like to tell my clients is for accessories and things like that. Like you can see, I have my purses like hanging behind me. But think about ways that you can put nice things that you like to look at on walls or different, because then it gets it out of the way. But it also is just like a unique way to do something different and do a little decor. So like you can hang your jewelry on walls. One tip that I give is, the key ring holders that they have. It's like the metal holder, you just screw it into the wall. Get a couple of those and hang your long necklaces on them. So then they're not taking up space, they're on the wall, and you see it, because that's another reason I think people's closets get so cluttered, is because you can't see anything. So you don't wear what you can't see. And then because you can't see it and you're like, oh, I need this thing. And then you go buy it. But then in reality, you have three. You just didn't know you had three because you couldn't see anything. Yep. So it's another good reason to get your stuff and put it on display so that you can actually see what you have, which I feel like is so important. And so here's another tip that I give my clients. If you have to swap out your wardrobe in the seasons, you have too many clothes.
Yep.
And I'm a stylist. So if I can figure out a way to have my clothes on display all year round, then you too can figure out a way to do that. That's another thing, is like, if you don't see it, you don't wear it. And that's how you end up with.
And I do want to bring up a point too, because I read a lot of organization books, and there's some things with closets that I'm just like, that doesn't really work. I don't know why. And one thing I see all the time is people doing is folding up t-shirts and like folding them and putting them in drawers. I'm like, no. Like when you pull that t-shirt out, it is going to be wrinkly as hell. Like I'm sorry, it always is. Like, so why are you telling people, and I hate to say Mary Kondo, but that's an example. She tells people, fold your shirts, put them in drawers. It's like, no. Like, they get wrinkly. You're never going to wear that. You're going to have to rewash that whole thing again. Or I mean, who wants to iron a t-shirt or use your Tide spray, whatever the heck they do nowadays? I don't use that. Doesn't work half the time. But yeah, it's just, it annoys the hell out of me. Sorry, I had to bring that up.
No, that's actually a really, really good point. And it actually gets into a great organization tip that I think we both have about like grouping your items together. So yeah, if you're gonna hang your t-shirts, like hang them all together in the same, which I think is an easy way to organize your closet. I know we both kind of touch on it. It was like hang things together.
Yep.
By category, which I think sometimes people do not. I think people just take something off and they just like put it in the hanger. It comes out of the laundry, they put it on the hanger, and they like shove it in the closet. But like, no, take the extra time to organize your closet by item type, because it'll make getting dressed so much easier, but it'll also make staying organized so much easier too. But yeah, I mean, the t-shirt thing. So I'm guilty of folding the t-shirts, but it's just because I have like so many graphic tees. And I generally like, I'm not wearing a t-shirt unless I'm like,
oh, that's true. Unless you're
working
home,
out or like lounging around. Like, so, I mean, I think I'm a little bit different. But get a portable steamer. If you guys don't have a portable steamer, that's a great way to avoid ironing, because I hate ironing. And so you can get a portable steamer. They heat up in like 2 minutes. It takes like a minute to steam the wrinkles like out of your clothes or whatever, and then you're good to go. Because I agree, like you don't want to have to be re-ironing stuff, spraying it and shaking it out, portable steamer. And fun fact, you can use your portable steamer for facials at home. So
Oh, nice. Good to know. Okay.
yeah, I learned that hack, and I was like, because I was actually looking for a facial steamer. It's so random. And then I read this thing and it was like, no, you can use your clothes steamer for a facial. You just have to like keep it like, 8 inches away from your face. Game changer.
There you go.
So invest in a portable steamer. And they're tiny, so ours just hangs on the bathroom door. But I think that's a good tip. So we're talking about tools, we're talking about things, and you said people a lot of times will buy the organization tools before they sort of like detox and make a game plan. Are there tools, systems, things that you do think people need to have when they're organizing their closets?
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing first is to, and people make this mistake all the time, is they always just put things on the side, but utilize the height. That's the biggest mistake I see a lot. And you mentioned a great strategy too with the jewelry and the hooks, hang it on the wall. That's the biggest thing, is hanging things from wall that you can display and see, and that's how you utilize height in general. In my closet, you wouldn't think to do this, but clothes are high off the ground. So there's enough space to actually put an entire dresser drawer right underneath my clothes, and it fits perfectly right there. And I literally have my underwear, socks, and among other things in that accessories in those drawers. And it's literally just a drawer right beneath my clothes. Utilize stacks of shoe racks, right? People would just sometimes just put their shoes on the ground, right on the floor in the closet, but there are cheap, like $10, $15 racks that you can easily get and put together, whether it's from Walmart, I see them at IKEA, even Lowe's and Home Depot. I've seen many of them that are always on sale. They're easy to put together. I mean, I'm not the best mechanic or the best construction person in general. I don't know a 4-prong, what the hell you call it, a Phillips screwdriver from a flathead or something.
Don't ask
but
me.
I don't know, but I put it together. So guess what? It's easy to put together. There you go.
That's really, really smart. I think that's a great tip about thinking about using the height. Another way you can do is, and again, this is easy, it doesn't take a lot of skill, is you can put a second pole into your closet, like halfway down. So then you've got 2 layers of things, which I think sometimes help. I'm a huge shoe rack person. I don't know if you guys like behind me. So that's a shoe rack over there, where all the shoes are stacked. And then I have a lot of shoes. So I have like a hanging shoe organizer in the closet, and then a shoe rack on the floor in the closet too. But for exactly those reasons, is because you want to be able to see your shoes. And the other reason I really like a shoe rack is because it forces you to take your shoes out of the box. Boxes take up space. So that's number one. So if you're trying to save some space, get your shoes out of the boxes. But 2, you don't wear what you don't see. Like, I can't emphasize that enough. And so if you use shoe racks, like you say, you can actually see your shoes and see which ones you wear all the time and which ones you don't ever wear. And think about, do I need to wear the ones I don't wear more, or get rid of them because I'm detoxing my closet? So I love that. I think that's a great tip. Now, I'm retentive about the hangers my clients use. Are you particular to a certain type of hanger?
Oh, yes. And I mentioned this too in the book. Oh, another thing that drives me wild are hangers. First off, mommy dearest, we've seen it, never use wire hangers. No. And the ones that come back, and the ones that come back from dry cleaning, chuck them, get rid of them, or save them for the next time you bring them back to dry cleaning. But don't
wait, can I interrupt?
Yeah, go for it.
Take your clothes out of the dry cleaning bags. People think that preserves your clothes. It actually wears the fabric down because the moisture can get into it. So if you want your clothes to actually last longer, when you get them back from the dry cleaner, take them out of the bag. That's a pet peeve of mine. Sorry, go back.
Great tip. No, that's awesome. Yeah, exactly. So no wire hangers. And then, so you're left with plastic hangers. Now, the plastic hangers that you shouldn't have were the ones with the divots, like the ones that have the little, the space that comes down. And the reason I say that is when you hang a lot of things, a lot of your sweaters or items get snagged on that, and they wind up creaking. So now you got this big old giant pointy little that you're walking around with. And I know a lot of people sometimes use those for like hanging straps. You have like a strap dress, or bra, or you're hanging. But again, those plastic hangers, they still have those hooks underneath. So that defeats that reasoning right there that you have too. But yes, definitely plastic hangers and the ones without divots. Those are the best ones to use.
I totally agree. I also a lot of times recommend the felt hangers for my clients. I like those because they're thinner and they take up less space. And then also the felt doesn't pull on your fabric, so it keeps the piece just like hanging right there, so it's not slipping off, it's not sliding off. So that's a great option. And a lot of my clients say, well, what about wooden hangers? I bought these great wooden hangers. Wooden hangers are nice, they preserve your clothes, but they take up a lot of space.
Yeah, and they're expensive.
They're very expensive. I mean, and now some of my clients, like, money is not an object, and I'm like,
Yeah.
great, then let's get wooden hangers. You have a giant closet, and you have the space for them, and it's not an expense. I'm generally not a fan because I feel like they take up a lot of room
Yeah, they do.
in your closet. And sorry, another thing, going back to your vertical thing for your pants, get a pants hanger.
Yeah.
Because then you can hang multiple pairs of pants and it's long. And so that's really actually going to help you too. But yeah, we're so on the same page. When I was reading that in the book about the hanger, I was like, oh, this is my twin flame.
Love it.
I was like, oh my God, we were meant
Yes.
to be. Yeah, hangers are like, whew, they're my pet peeve. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, the wire hanger. We should have stopped selling wire hangers. There's so many reasons they just.
I know. Oh,
they should
can't get over
they
it.
should not be a thing. But I do like your tip about reusing them if you're going to take something like back to the dry cleaner or something like that.
Yeah.
That's a great tip, but that's really, really good. I love that. Another thing I tell my clients to sometimes get is that if they have a lot of shoes and they're like insist on having shoe boxes, and these are kind of expensive, but you can get the clear shoe boxes,
Yeah.
which look really nice. And again, it allows you to see what's in your closet, because that's always my pet peeve with shoe boxes. Just you don't know what's in there, and if you don't know, you're not going to wear it. So I think that's great. Okay, so we have detoxed our closet. We have organized our closet. It is looking beautiful. But now we're like 3 months past doing that. Do you have tips for how to stay organized? Because I know even I do this. Like, I'll read the book and I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm cleaning out the kitchen this week coming up, right? I'm like, this kitchen I'm on it. But I know in 3 months from now, like, how can I stay organized and keep my closet and my spaces organized, like, once I go through this process?
Yeah, it's a very hard habit to break, and I describe this for people all the time. You do have to view organization like something, a new habit that you're trying to form, like going to the gym or working out, or like I don't know, reading a book a day, or something that you really organization is just like that. It takes a mental toll on you. Honestly, you think about the time you have, and you're just like, in milliseconds, like that shirt is not where it needs to be. But I think what you said too, if you categorize your clothes and then on top of that you color code them, there's only one spot that item of clothing can be, and that's the only place that your mind is trained to put that. You can't put it anywhere else because it's going to look like an eyesore. So really getting that organization process to begin with, and then that habit that you once messy with, now is forefront. You realize, oh my God, that what I used to do, now that's a complete and utter ugliness in my closet. It's a hot mess. So
Yeah.
that red shirt, that needs to go with the red t-shirts and the red sweaters, or whatever a categorical method you're using in your closet.
Yeah, I love that, and that's such a good tip. Is the color coordinating and categorizing it, because I agree. Like, you just can't not put something back once the things are organized that way. And it makes it really easy. Like, I can tell my husband, I need this shirt and here's exactly where it's hanging. So can you go grab that for me, kind of thing. So I do think that's a good tip. But I do like, thinking about it and looking at it like a habit. Obviously for me, like, the closet comes a little naturally, but like, I think about our kitchen, or how we always like have mail that piles up and things like that. So even I'm going to change my mindset as I think about approaching organization in the other parts of my house, because like the closet's really clean, and my son's room is like meticulous, but then every place else I'm just like, whatever. Downstairs is a daycare and I'm just gonna leave it that way. The kitchen, I'm just trying to make everything fit. So I think that's great. Okay, so now we've talked just kind of about closets, a little bit about digital, but you really have this expertise. I mean, your book talks about kitchen, it talks about bathroom, it talks about, like we said, email, desktops, all of that stuff. So when you think about just organizing our lives in general, do you have some top tips that you think people need to take home with them?
Yes, the biggest one, and I see this with past clients and friends and coworkers, is paper clutter. It's the biggest thing. Like, people, for some reason, like, they just have tons of old papers and receipts, and there are so many apps out there on your phone now. There's one called Cam Scanner that I typically use. It's so easy. All you have to do is download the app. You put your papers, whatever it is, on a flat surface, click the picture icon. Not only does it take a picture of your paper, it crops it perfectly and it brightens it up and enhances the color. And all you do is it converts it to a PDF. You can keep it as a JPEG. All you do is email that picture to yourself or send it to your Dropbox, and bam, it's right in your computer file. Yeah, and I do it with many clients and many people, and then only print out. And people might think like, oh, what about my medical records? Or what if I need this form, the taking? Simple. Keep it on your computer, print it out once when you do need it, take it to wherever you need to go to, and then trash it as soon as you get home. And then, God forbid, 6 months down the line, you might need that paper again. Just reprint it, and you have no paper clutter or receipts or anything in drawers. And that's probably the biggest tip that a lot of my clients just never considered, and it's done a huge.
Well, yeah, if like you're saying that, and as you're saying, first of all, I'm like, I feel a little bit of a read because on my bed is all the paper clutter that I moved from my desk.
I did not see that.
So I'm like, oh, did I do that when I was on camera with him?
No, not at all.
But then I just think about that from we have a family of 5. So thinking about medical, just vaccination records, but like the medical records for our 3 kids, the stuff for the 2 of us, mortgage paperwork, marriage, not that we'll trash our marriage license, but like all of that kind of stuff. We have, I literally have file folders for like each person in the family with all of that stuff. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess most of that we could just scan and keep. So then I have one file folder with birth certificates and that.
Yeah, those important documents. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, I guess I could digitally scan every well child visit that all 3 kids go to. I'm like, there's no point in keeping that. Now that you're saying that, I'm like, oh yeah, why didn't I think of that? But that's a really great tip. And tell me the name of that app again.
Sure, Cam Scanner, CAM and then Scanner. It has a C and an S on the cover. It's turquoise and black. It's a turquoise and black icon.
Okay, yeah. Cam Scanner. I love that. That's such a good tip.
It's awesome. I love that app.
That's oh, maybe when the 2 older kids get here, that'll be their chores project.
There you go.
I'll be like, you guys can earn things, and here's how you do it. Get those iPhones out because you both have one.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to use.
Get to scanning, guys. I love that. That's such a great tip. That's really. Is there anything else you want to share with people? We have people been popping in and out on my live. And things like that. But is there anything else you want to share with people that you think they should know? Just anything.
Yeah, I think we hit the nail on the head too with the height thing. People just don't utilize height when it comes to just stacking things or putting things on walls. Even in the bathroom, you can utilize height. When I go in people's showers, I see that they just put all these shampoos and conditioners sitting on that one little pedestal or that one little side. But there are so many products out there that there are so many products out there that you can stick to that suction to your shower wall that you can put your shampoo in, your conditioner in. There's places that can hold your razor, suctions that you just put your razor right on the wall of the shower. So there's so many ways that you can utilize height that people, I don't think that people just get used to it. They just don't know that exists. And I think once they're aware of it, I think it becomes more of something that you recognize that you can do to maintain organization.
Yeah, we need that. We used to have those in our old bathroom, and then we moved, and we moved with a 5-day-old, so just priorities were a little bit different. But now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I need to go back to that system of, we had one for each kid. So all of their stuff was just in one place. I love that. I think that's so smart to think about height and how you can utilize that in different ways. I think another great kitchen tip, I don't know about you, but our kitchen is a good size, but I feel like there's just never enough storage in your kitchen. So one thing I love are the pantry baskets that hang on the inside of the pantry door, because I feel like it opens up a whole new world to you. And like you said, they're tall, so you've got a lot of shelves on there. So yeah, I'll be going through our house now and doing a height assessment where I can where I can declutter and organize by adding some height. So I think that's great. So we are 40 minutes in. We've had just like an awesome conversation. But where can people find you? Where can they follow you? How can they connect with you?
Sure. Yes. So I have an Instagram account. You can follow me there. Follow me at Stressy to Organize. So Stressy, the number 2, and then the word organized. And then, also my book is exclusively on Amazon, paperback, $9.99, Kindle's $3.99. And then if you're on Kindle Unlimited, it's free to you. Yes.
That's awesome. I'm going to download that on each of our kids' Kindle Unlimited. It's like, hey guys, read this book. Let's get your rooms together. That's awesome. That's so cool. I really just want to thank you for spending your morning with me. I hope you're enjoying your Bloody Mary. I think these are just really great tips that people can use. I cannot encourage you guys enough to go and buy the book. It's a great investment. Like I said, even if you just read the digital part, I was like, oh, I have got to get my life together. So the book was worth it just for that. But then, like I said, I'm going through now in kitchens and bathrooms and, living rooms. He really touches on like every area that we need to be thinking about. And there's not one reference to looking at your items and asking if it brings you joy. So that's good, because I know people have very strong feelings about that. And so I feel like it's good. You're not going to read this book and feel like I have to get rid of everything, or, I need to just like completely start over. So definitely check out the book on Amazon. It is a good read. Follow Bobby on social media. If you want to detox your closet using my process, you can visit my website, www.yourchicishowing.com. And if you go to /ebooks, Closet Detox ebook is right there. It walks you through my 6-step closet detox and organization process. The first 4 steps are all detox, because like Bobby said, if you do not declutter, there's no point in really organizing. So it really takes you through a systematic process to declutter. It walks you through how to organize, and Bobby and I are on the same page with the organization piece of it.
Yeah.
So you'll be like, did they talk to each other when they wrote that? No, I hadn't met Bobby when I wrote the ebook. So we did not. But it really kind of like walks you through that piece of it. So again, just visit my website, yourchicishowing.com/ebooks for that. I want to thank you guys for being here. I want to thank Bobby. And we'll get the replay up and loaded, and it will be good to go. So thank you so much, Bobby.
It was awesome. Great. Thank you for having me, Erica.
Yeah. Take care, everybody. Enjoy your Saturday.